Coming up on Mountain News this morning, the Commonwealth is facing a counselor shortage in school systems. And Eastern Kentucky University is celebrating STEM Week by inviting students to visit science programs.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Olivia Calfee. The time is 6:31 on September 14th. Now let's check in with Chief Forecaster Brandon Robinson for a look at your forecast this morning. And Brandon, it's officially Friday Eve, and we have a lot to look forward to. I know you said a few bumps possibly this weekend, but other than that, we have a nice few days to enjoy.
Oh yeah, and we got a busy couple of days too.
Very
of course,
busy.
we've got Power Up the Pantry today. We've got Black Gold Festival starting here in Hazard today. Got all kinds of fairs and festivals going on this weekend. High school football tomorrow night, college football on Saturday. Should be fairly nice for most of those games. Let's take a look, see what's going on across our region right now. We're heading up on the mountain, Buffalo Mountain, looking down into the valley. 50 in Hazard at the airport right now. We're seeing some 40s, and Irvin continues to fall. Coldest spot in the region at 45, 48 Clintwood and Williamsburg, and we're seeing some spots like Moorhead and Hazard, maybe Manchester, London, Somerset there, low 50s, and could fall here pretty quickly. Remember, the coldest part of the day is 7 o'clock, but in areas that have fog, it's kind of like a blanket, trying to keep those temperatures a little bit warmer. And of course, we've got that blanket here in Hazard. But look at these numbers from just 24 hours ago. 13 degrees colder in Moorhead and Williamsburg, 11 degrees colder, Prestonsburg, Hazard, Somerset, Jonesville, 10 degrees colder in Middlesboro, and the winter, 16 degrees colder this morning in Monticello. That's a pretty good difference, pretty good chunk of real estate from this time yesterday. Going to stay chilly for a little while, stay foggy for a little while. Sunshine comes a little bit later this morning. Olivia?
Brandon, thank you. The search continues for a murder suspect out of East Tennessee. Anderson County Sheriff's Office says 44-year-old Jason Dockery is accused of shooting 38-year-old Shiesty Mayberry earlier this week. Officials say they were in the car together when it came to a stop in Highscale, Tennessee. Mayberry was shot multiple times outside of the vehicle. After the shooting, Dockery dropped off a small child in Union County. It is unclear who the child belongs to, but investigators say the child is safe. Wednesday night, U.S. Marshals say that a man gave Dockery a ride back into Union County without knowing who he was. A $5,000 reward is being offered in the case. Dockery has a lengthy criminal history, and police say he is very dangerous. The Perry County Sheriff's Department responded to a shots fired near the old MC Napier High School yesterday. Deputies say the incident happened at what is reportedly an illegal gambling room. They say there were multiple shots fired, but there are no reports of injuries. Officials left the scene around 7:30 p.m. There is a suspect in custody, but no other information has been released. The Attorney General's office has declined the request to appoint a special prosecutor in the death investigation of Amber Spradlin in Floyd County. In a letter, officials say, in part, quote, "The circumstances do not at present appear to call for a special prosecutor appointment. Therefore, the office respectfully declines your request." Now, this was in response to a letter that was submitted by Floyd County Judge Executive Robbie Williams last week about appointing a special prosecutor to look into the murder of the 38-year-old Prestonsburg woman after no arrests have been made. We received responses from both Robbie Williams and Commonwealth's attorney Brent Turner yesterday. Williams said, in part, quote, "Many in our community have expressed the same concerns. If Dr. Hall now feels an independent prosecutor is no longer needed, then she has the right to withdraw her request. But it does not change my perception that an outside prosecutor, based on all the various circumstances, would provide helpful and needed assurance to our community that justice will be served." Dr. Hall is referring to Debbie Hall, Amber's cousin. Turner said, in part, quote, "The county judge needs to worry about doing his own job. If we need a load of gravel or the toilet gets stopped up at the Senior Citizen Center, we'll call him. But when it comes to murder cases, he needs to leave that to the team of professional investigators and prosecutors to handle." If you want to see the full responses, we have that on our website at WYMT.com. London Police Department Sergeant Troy Truitt says drunk driving related crashes have increased within the last year after also losing one of their own. The London Police Department is looking to fix that. London Police Department officer Logan Medlock was killed while he was on patrol looking for drunk drivers. Sergeant Truitt says the department is being more proactive in patrols and training related to driving while intoxicated.
We're sending our officers to advanced training, for example, ARIDE. And what ARIDE is, it stands for Advanced Roadside Impaired Driving Enforcement. So that makes the officers feel more comfortable with a DUI.
Truitt says last year there were 94 incidents involving drunk driving compared to the 214 so far this year. When it comes to the number of counselors in schools, Kentucky receives a failing grade. Roughly 52% of districts meet the goal of one counselor per 250 students. Education leaders are asking the state to work towards improving that grade.
Our students need to feel safe and secure in the environment in which they're learning. And
Eddie Campbell is the president of the Kentucky Education Association. He says school counselors are vital to the operation of Kentucky's schools, but also in supporting Kentucky's students.
about 16% of students in Kentucky between the ages of 3 and 17 have depression and anxiety. So they need those mental health supports in our public schools, and our counselors provide that.
The Kentucky School Safety and Resiliency Act, passed in 2019, sets the goal for districts to employ at least one counselor in each school and one for every 250 students. According to the Office of the State School Security Marshal's annual report, 48% of Kentucky's schools are not meeting the 1 to 250 goal. The statewide counselor to student ratio is currently sitting at 1 to 306. 118 Kentucky schools do not have any school counselors.
We need to make sure that we're reaching that goal. Our students do need those supports. You know, if you think about what's gone on in Kentucky over the past year or a couple of years, we've lived through COVID. We had a major tornado in the western part of the state. We had a major flood in the eastern part of the state. So our students have lived through trauma.
Campbell says it's not just counselors, though. There are shortages across the board in education. In Frankfort, Samantha Valentino, WKYT.
Kentucky is not alone in the struggle to find school counselors. The American School Counselor Association says only 2 states meet the criteria of at least one counselor for every 250 students. Those states are Vermont and New Hampshire. Eastern Kentucky University is celebrating STEM Week and inviting high school students to campus to visit the science programs. Tests administered by the Kentucky Department of Education claim only 13% of high school students scored proficient in science, making it one of the worst tested areas. EKU leaders are hoping events like these help reverse that trend and close the STEM gender gap as well.
It's very important, especially with girls, to get them introduced into STEM so they get comfortable with it as soon as possible. It's shown that there's more boys in STEM than girls in STEM. Both matter, but we of course want it to be more equal. And I think introducing to them at a young age gets them more comfortable that I am good at STEM, I can do STEM.
EKU hopes that this week students will get a chance to learn more about STEM programs and be inspired to continue their curiosity into a science career. The 2024 Kentucky Teacher of the Year was announced yesterday morning at the Capitol in Frankfort. The Kentucky Department of Education says they received more than 1,000 nominations this year. They say there was at least one nomination from every school district. 10 semifinalists were chosen for a chance to win the 2024 Kentucky Teacher of the Year award. The winner was Kevin Daly from Boone County.
All of our children, no matter who they are, deserve to be seen, heard, welcomed, and safe in every space that they exist in. My goal is to help advocate for those kids, for our kids who maybe don't have someone always in their corner.
Our one representative from the mountains was Hazard High School's Luke Glazer. The nomination period for the 2025 Teacher of the Year opens on November 1st.
Coming up on 641 here on this partially foggy Thursday morning, we're seeing the dense fog around Hazard, Harlan, and Williamsburg. Also, Middlesboro and Ashland got some limited visibility along with Logan as well. So again, patchy dense fog, so be careful of that. We go over to UVA-wise and not too much going on over that way this morning. Just some chill in the air. 52 there, 45 in Irvin. Hazard, welcome to the club. 48 now in Hazard, 48 Clintwood, 48 in Williamsburg. And we'll see if Moorhead is the next to fall there. 52 Prestonsburg, Somerset, London, Manchester, 53 in Middlesboro. Out the door forecast after the chill and the fog goes away, sunshine will take over and it will warm us up into the upper 70s. Olivia?
Thanks, Brandon, and thank you for joining us. The time is now 6:41. Still to come on Mountain News this morning. We have an interesting story for you. A mom recognized her daughter's dangerous symptoms after watching a documentary on food poisoning.